Hello, welcome to Staillo Gaming. I'm an aspiring indie game developer currently working on a free short horror game. In this devlog, I'm going to show you how I implemented the gameplay mechanics, and I really like how it all turned out so far. Alright, starting off strong with the cow. I just looked up some cow PS1 inspo to visualize how I wanted the cow to look. And without spoiling anything, this cow is going to have some significance to the game. I know, original. A cow in a burger game. Insanity, never been done before. Okay. Yeah, I guess I messed up on the unwrapping of this cow, so I had to do everything manually. The cow was supposed to be covered in checkerboard patterns. Don't know what I did wrong, don't know what happened. So definitely gonna have to read up on that instead of just following YouTube tutorials. But it gets the job done. What is this clusterfuck right now? And then I painted the cow, that was pretty fun. The most fun out of this whole process. And then look at the little eyes, so cute, just staring into your soul. This is how she looks in the game. Yeah, hopefully no one else can see those white cutout lines. Don't know what they are. And now for the outside world. I started working on the parking lot. Believe it or not, I was too lazy to go outside and snap a picture of the ground. So I thank the game dev gods that I still had the original pavement picture from, what, a year or two ago? Speaking of parking lots, I then decided to add windows to the restaurant for a jump scare that I was thinking of. Thanks to Unity Ace's glass tutorial. And then I went back to working on the parking lot. I wanted to limit the player to not be able to walk past the parking lot or behind the restaurant, so I created a brick wall that the player can't walk past. For the brick texture, I used Brick Textures 4K by Texture Haven from the Unity Asset Store. And for the nature/touching grass aspect of the game, I used Elegant Crow's Retro PSX style tree pack for, you guessed it, the trees. I love that Elegant Crow included a YouTube tutorial, because I live off of those. Literally the only reason my game is alive is because of tutorials, so I appreciate that. And then I just placed some trees, see which ones I liked, deleted the ones I didn't think fit the vibe. And the last thing I added for the outside world was the sky. I used the Fantasy Skybox free from Render Night in the Unity Asset Store. There are so many talented artists that create textures like this, especially for free, that I'm incredibly thankful for. I also added some cars from the Simple Cars pack by Mike Serman in the Unity Asset Store. Take a shot for every time I say Unity Asset Store. One of the cars being for the player, and the other car is like an abandoned car from someone that went missing. Dun, dun, dun. I don't want to spoil the game for you watching in case you wanted to end up playing the game. I know I'm showing a lot. I don't know if I've said the storyline outright. I'm trying not to, even though it's a devlog, you're seeing every nook and cranny of the game. So I'm trying not to spoil the game for you in case you do end up wanting to play this game. Alright, so speaking of not spoiling the game for you, this is the first jump scare of the game. Yeah, I just sat down one night at 3 AM and I was just thinking of ways to make this game fun, because that's the whole point. And then I was like, alright, so as soon as you load in the game, you start walking to the restaurant, boom! A cow. So I took that same cow in Blender and stood it up, because that's not fucking creepy at all. But yeah, a jump scare in the beginning of the game sounds super funny. And now for the gameplay. I guess I should call it tasks, because when the player walks into the restaurant, I want to give them 3 tasks to do before customers start walking in, just to give some meat and substance to the game. So yeah, very proud of this light switch. I did try to find one for free. Couldn't find the one I wanted, so I just made it. And then I added a white outline for visual cues. And oh my god, I'm so proud of how the light switch looks when you turn it on. I still gotta work on the lighting though, because the lighting does not get any brighter, but I'll worry about that later. And then after you turn on the lights, you're gonna have to turn on the appliances. Once you turn on an appliance, the outline is supposed to turn off, which of course didn't work. And then I got distracted when Silksong came out. Of course I had to stop development to play this. Did anybody else not speak to their friends or family for a week straight when this game came out? No, it was just me, okay. I have 23 hours in this game, still at the last judge. I rage quit and started working on my game again. Alright, don't know how I did it, but now when you turn on the appliances, the outline turns off. For the last task that the player has to do is to turn on an open sign. I just looked up some open signs, used this image, found a Ryan King Arts neon sign tutorial on YouTube, and modeled away. Now that I was done with that, I wanted the neon sign to glow for when the player turns it on, but turns out it only glows in Blender. And to get it to glow outside of Blender, you need to bake it. And turns out it's complicated as hell. I was like, no way Unity doesn't have something like this that I can just work on in-game. And I was right, finally. I found this in the Unity's emission documentation. And look how beautiful it looks. Literally feels like a game. It feels like it's all coming together. I hope it stays that way. And honestly, due to my own laziness, I could have just left the open sign like this, pretended that it gets its electricity from the solar panel or something. But it didn't look realistic, so I just made the power switch. The wire that connects to nothing. A wire that leads to nowhere. And from the hub of the internet, I was able to have it turn on. Alright, now the last thing I did was create customer dialogue. So the first customer will say they want fries. Yeah, they're still walking, I'll fix that later. Alright, you give it to the cash register. Customer goes away. And then I had it so that the second customer comes in a wee bit too fast. Like another jump scare. And yeah, this one wants a soda. It's not working right now, but it will hopefully by the next devlog. Yeah, that's everything I did. All that took 2 weeks to make. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!